The result of the Shepard decision for the press was disastrous, absolutely disastrous. In the second trial, they tore all the phones out of the courthouse. The press was not allowed to have seats in the courtroom. They had to line up at 4 o'clock in the morning with the public to try to get a seat. They were forced to work off the courthouse campus. And everything that was done to possibly hinder their coverage was done. And it has been a curse that we have lived with ever since. Would I want to see the Shepard decision re-examined now? The answer is no, because I think that things are worse now, and I think that the public holds, I think the public and the judiciary holds the press in so much disrepute now that the result would probably be worse. And that's really troubles me.
Unearned or earned public attitude of the press?
Well, I think that you are mixing up who the press are with who these commentators are. By showing Nancy Grace at this conference, I think that you disclose what you're thinking press is, and it's not that.
Okay, but you see, it goes back to what Judge Jones mentioned, Linda, that namely, I'm not sure many attorneys, maybe not many judges, but certainly the general public who sits on juries really understand who the press is and what's legitimate and what is not legitimate, and therefore you have more burdens placed on a judge with tools given to us by the Supreme Court as gospel almost 50 years ago. Do we need new tools? What should they be? And what's the responsibility of the media, the legitimate media, in regards to those that cross the line? Tom.
I'm Alex Sanders. I'm sometimes a criminal defense lawyer.
You don't have to apologize.
I'm not apologizing. I'm just revealing bias. Thomas Jefferson said he would rather have a free press without a government than a government without a free press. Everybody knows that, right?
Only at the beginning,
If I were
Alex.
put to the test of whether I'd rather have Nancy Grace without a government or a government without Nancy Grace, I might make a different sort of a conclusion. But no matter how much I would like to, I would not silence the voice of Nancy Grace under any circumstances. Not that if anybody in would. I believe, however, that it's with a droit voir dire of a juror, a better question than can you put this aside would be something like this. You saw Nancy Grace on television, didn't you? And you heard her say that the defendant had confessed to the crime, right? And based upon what you heard her say, you didn't hear her say anything after that that might lead you to conclude that there was anything wrong with the confession, did you? No. And the confession, therefore, would naturally cause you to believe the defendant was guilty, right? Right. And you haven't heard anything since then that would change your mind, have you? No. But you would be willing in this trial to sit as an impartial juror, wouldn't you? Yes. And if something did happen to prove the defendant not guilty, you would keep an open mind on that, wouldn't you? Yes. It's disqualified. Because the burden has been shifted.
And you think that's
innocence.
And you think that's enough?
Well, enough, sure. Why wouldn't it be enough?
Okay.
Juror admits that the conclusion of guilt has already been reached, and it will take some evidence to erode that that belief in the juror's mind. That's the end of that juror.
What if you got a juror who simply says, "Oh, I can set everything aside. I swear."
I just let the juror set everything aside.
And then you disqualify them?
Disqualified the juror because the juror had said, I reached the conclusion of guilt. And now I'm willing to set that conclusion aside. But no one can set a conclusion aside unless there's some evidence based on the change of mind. So the juror, therefore, requires proof of innocence by admissions.
Okay.